So for a long time, I have self-proclaimed to be the best protein oat maker in the whole world. And I don't say that lightly. I say that very, very seriously because this is a meal I'm very passionate about. And it's a meal I've eaten every day for as long as I can remember, whether I'm bulking, whether I'm dieting. There's just different variations to it. Now today, obviously we're in a bulk. So I'm going to run you through exactly how I make my protein oats. We are going to train in probably about an hour and a half. So this is quite perfect. I wouldn't eat this any closer to me training, just purely from a digestion standpoint. I don't like it. So about an hour and a half before. I'm going to run you through my measurements, why I've got certain options. You'll see here I've got a catalogue of bits and bobs. But one thing I don't have is my scales. Get them because you need them. And yeah, so I'm basically going to explain to you how to make them. Now, YouTube will probably throw you up many different ways to make it. This is how I like to make it. Now, I've seen many different tutorials online using the microwave, using milk. I personally don't do either of those. I use the kettle. So I use hot water straight in. But before we get to that, let me explain to you what we've got in front of you. Okay, so obviously, first things first is your oats. Now, when you go to the supermarket, there's different types of oats. You've got rolled oats, jumbo oats, Scottish oats, I think they're jumbo oats as well. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. I like I think these are jumbo oats. Obviously, I don't know if you can really see that. But they're quite thick. They're quite, like the actual flake of the oat is quite large. I like this one. This sits really well with me. It's not powdery, which I personally think the thinner type of oats is powdery. So first things first, you need your oats, right? And then what you're going to do is obviously depending on what your macros are, okay? My macros are allowing me to have about 130 grams of oats. Now, when I put that on my Instagram the other day, people were like, 130 grams, how are you getting that in? The truth is that you kind of, you build up to it. You don't just go, like when I come out of my diet phase, I will probably go down to about 50, 60. I don't go from 50, 60 straight up to 130 because I won't be able to eat. It's too much. So what I'd say is build yourself up. Work yourself up to a high amount of oats. Going 20 at a time, 10, 15, 20, whatever it is. Don't just try and top yourself out 130 straight away because you won't be able to eat it. Second, you need your protein. Now, absolutely not sponsored, but if you are watching, you're the only sponsor I would genuinely care about. Because I will never buy another protein powder in my life. I promise you I won't. This brand has me. Absolutely has me. Unless they change their formula or what, I don't know. But this is the chocolate brownie batter. I have tried different flavours. I've tried many different flavours. This is probably number one. Number two would be double choc. Basically, you kind of get the gist. I like a chocolate flavoured protein. So you're going to go ahead and get yourself, so I think I put in, I go on autopilot. I don't even measure this most of the time. 30 grams, so I'm pretty sure that's like one scoop. Gives you about 20-ish grams of protein. I will put the macros on the screen at the end. 33, that's fine. So just one scoop in, bang, right. So we've still got no water, we've got no nothing. Now, before I get the water, I'm just going to explain to you what's going to go in after the water. So, blueberries, okay? Very, very easy bit of fruit. I mean, one of your 5 a day, if we're going down that road. But a lot of you don't eat enough fruit and a lot of you don't eat enough veg. And your breakfast is a great opportunity to start getting in a bit of that, start changing that, basically. Because when you put blueberries, you put banana, you can put strawberries, you can pretty much put anything in this meal. The reason why I only have blueberries in this meal is just because I'm trying to limit the actual volume of it. When I go down into a diet, the blueberries will probably be joined by maybe raspberries, possibly strawberries. Sometimes what I'll occasionally do is I'll put a banana in this as well, but I personally prefer to kind of hold the banana for just before I train. So again, doesn't really matter when you have it. Just make sure you try and get some fruit in. And then I'm going to put in 15 grams of peanut butter. Now, I go for the no palm oil, so I'm pretty sure it's 100% roasted peanuts. It just tastes better. There's obviously far more nutritional benefits to it to have no palm oil in it. But ultimately, for me, this was the first one I ever started using. So you know when you kind of don't really know any different, and then I have tried other peanut butters, but I just can't move away from this one. So let me get the kettle. So the kettle boiled like 5-10 minutes ago, just for time purposes. So let me move my scales out of the way. So so basically what you have here is you've got your dry consistency. Okay, so you've literally just got oats, you've got protein powder in there. Now the key here, this is very, very important. I need you to listen to what I'm about to say. As you're adding this water, take it slowly. Okay, don't just dump the whole kettle into the bowl. I promise you, it will mess it up. You need to be stirring as you go, because essentially what you want is you want the oats and the protein powder to kind of just merge in as one. If you dump that whole kettle in straight away, it basically turns into like a protein shake with some oats in there, which is just, I've done it before, it ain't nice. And you can tell when you've done that as well. So just slowly add some water in. God, I feel like I'm on the Bake Off. But look, you can see, so slowly kind of starting to thicken up. Now this is obviously way too thick. I couldn't eat this. But you personally, watching this, you might like it that thick. It's like I guess like a cake mixture. And then add some more water. So you can kind of get what I'm trying to say. You just need to kind of eyeball it a bit and just take it really slowly. The people around me know this is a craft. I've worked on this craft for years. So when I tell you this is the best protein oats that you can make, I don't necessarily say that with any jest. I'm being dead serious, okay? So again, still quite thick for me. That's way too thick, so let's get some more water in there. But what you've got now is you've got a consistency of the oats and the protein powder essentially being one. Yeah, here we go. Again, trying to get you to see that. But you just got to keep stirring. And then what will happen is the water will obviously soak up the oats, or the oats will soak up the water, should I say. And it will basically soften them. And then you just, whatever you're happy with, right? See, for me, that's not bad. I'm not mad about that. I might actually leave it there. Because what will happen is if you leave it for like a minute, as you do the rest of your ingredients, it will, again, just naturally thicken up. So if you don't want it too thick, make sure you kind of leave it a bit runny and then go from there. Need another spoon. So again, looking at sort of 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, which is about that much, which is an absolute treat if I'm honest with you, because when I diet, boy, that's going to be like a teaspoon. So get that in, and it's really important to get that mixed in straight away. Okay, really get that mixed in straight away, because you want that peanut butter to sort of melt into the oats. Again, you can tell I'm very passionate about this, because if you're eating something every single day, it needs to be right. It needs to be right. You need to look forward to it. And I promise you now, on my life, I look forward to this every day. And do you know what's even worse? When I diet, it just means even more, because it's like that chocolatey taste that maybe you don't get while you're dieting. And then blueberries, I do weigh these out for the purpose of the video. I will weigh these out for the purpose of the video, sorry. I usually do about 75. 78, that'll do. So again, I'm not going mad with the blueberries, but just enough to kind of... do you know what it does as well? It almost breaks up the taste of it being quite heavy on chocolate, because obviously you've got peanut butter and then you've got the chocolate. So it's like quite thick and quite heavy. Put a bit of fruit in there, cold, just trust me, all right? But again, on the fruit side of things, just play around with it. You could, like I said, you can kind of do whatever. Depending on what your calories are, will kind of just depend on how you do everything here, okay? And everything you've seen me do, just kind of make sure it's relative. So, for example, like I said, if you're dieting, don't put 130 grams of protein in. It doesn't really change, 130 grams of oats. It doesn't really change how you do anything else. All it changes is how much volume you actually have. So 50, 60 grams. Keep the 1 scoop of your protein. Get your handful of blueberries. Obviously, if you're dieting, then you can add more. And just use less peanut butter. But that is it. There. the world's best protein oats. And I don't say that lightly. I say that very, very seriously. Okay? I'm going to go and eat this. But let me know if you try this out because, like I said, it is fantastic. And when you've got a breakfast that you look forward to, you guys who don't like eating breakfast, it becomes so much easier. So I hope you found this useful. As always, if you enjoyed, drop me a like, drop me a subscribe. Catch you in the next one.